Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kevin Bukicki YouTube channel. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I would like to consider myself knowledgeable in the world of sports, but I consider myself an expert in the world of food and holidays. And my favorite holiday is here, and that is Thanksgiving. And I would like to consider giving you guys a crash course on tips and tricks you can have during the holiday season, things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do. And hopefully, you will take my advice and have a great holiday. Without further ado, let's get into it. Number one, this is the most important one. Know your role. If you can cook, cook. This is your time to shine. Do what you can. If you're good at making mac and cheese, make mac and cheese. If you want to make turkey, make turkey. I would prefer that the host of the event makes turkey. You shouldn't be going into someone else's house and making the turkey. That should be delegated to the person hosting it. But do what you want to do and do what you're good at. Don't come in here trying to make new recipes, and if you can't cook, don't cook. Try baking. It's a lot easier. They tell you how to make everything. And if you can't bake at all and making food is not your strong suit, bring cups, bring paper plates, bring drinks, bring whatever. Just don't make food if you can't. And if you can, by all means, do it, but don't try anything new. If you're trying a new recipe, make sure that you do it a couple of days or maybe a week or two in advance to try and to perfect the craft, because this is the Super Bowl or the World Cup of food. This is your magnum opus. This is your time to shine. You should not be pulling out new recipes, especially when you haven't tried them first. So the number one most important rule is just know your role. If you can cook, bring something. If you can't, don't. It's very simple. Number two, if you are hosting, make sure you have enough space for everybody. You don't need to be cramped up for everybody, and I expect there to be ample couch space available for everybody. You should be able to allow everyone to sit comfortably. If we're pulling out folding chairs, if you need, any of those plastic chairs to accommodate people, it's fine for dinner. But if you're sitting on those hard plastic or, God forbid, hard metal chairs like the ones that they used to have at church, you're not setting your guests up for success. You need to make sure that they have ample tush cushions. My cousin does a great job of having a lot of couches throughout the house, so I never have to worry about being uncomfortable. So if you're hosting, make sure that you have enough space for people. You don't want people to be crammed together or to be sitting in uncomfortable seats. If you can't accommodate for everybody, then it's not the holiday for you. Number three, I feel like this shouldn't have to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. Everything should be made homemade. You should not be bringing anything store bought to Thanksgiving. The least you can do is what I do: buy some cookie dough, throw it in the oven, and then bring it. It's low effort. Everyone likes cookies. It's a good way of showing that you're not, it's a good way to not show up empty handed, but to also contribute to the event. You should not be making anything out of a box or anything. You should be hand making everything. And this is the holiday, like I said, where you have to bring out the big guns. You have to make sure that you know what you're doing and that you're good at it. So I should not see any boxed anything, any prepackaged anything. This is a family gathering. This is about being together. This is about, being close to one another. And there's nothing more personable than bringing food that you made. It just adds to the experience. So make sure, if you're bringing something that you made, unless obviously it's like a soda or alcohol, obviously you're not going to be making Bud Light in your bathtub, but you know, if you're going to cook food, make sure you made it. Okay. Number four, this has to do with the time frame of the day. Everyone should be at the place, at whoever's house or apartment or whatever, between 12 and 1 o'clock. This is ample time for you to start the day off right. Obviously, the people hosting the event are going to be up earlier, preferably having the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade on in the background, cooking and stuff. So they should be preparing the food a little bit earlier, but you should be strolling into that person's house between 12 and 1 o'clock, right around kickoff of the first NFL game, which they pushed it back from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, which does not make me happy. I need that 12:30 first kickoff game, then 4:30 for the second one, and then 8:30 for the third one. It's all messed up now. The whole day is ruined. But anyway, you should show up around 12 or 1 o'clock for appetizers. And this is something that I've just grown accustomed to, that you're going to be cooking and preparing food and hosting the event. You should just have your door unlocked. I expect to just be able to walk into your house. If you know that I'm going to be there and you're expecting me to be there, then you shouldn't have any blockers for when I come in there. I understand, personal safety and stuff, but it's a family holiday. If you know what time that I should be there, I expect the door to be open. So anyway, you should be there between 12 and 1 for appetizers. And also, I should mention that when I come into your house through the unlocked front door, I should be greeted with a plate of food immediately, or there should be food out there for me to grab immediately. We have no time to waste. We have to prepare as much we have to, prepare for the day to have as much food as humanly possible, and I can't be strolling up into your house waiting for food. I haven't eaten all day. I'm hungry, so I assume that when I come into your house, that you give me food immediately. Then dinner should be early. It should be around 4 o'clock. You should not be eating dinner at like your typical dinner time. Usually for my family, it's around like 6:30. We're not eating late into the day. We're getting this show on the road. We're doing it as soon as we can. You should be eating right after, right, but you should start dinner between the gap of the first NFL game and which is usually the Lions game, and then the Cowboys game at 4:30. You should start eating dinner there. Um, and then you should have dessert between 6 and 7 p.m. You should be then you should have a few hours after dinner before you start dessert, and you should have dessert between 6 and 7 p.m. And you should not have all the pies, all the cookies, all the cakes or whatever, and you should be out of that place by 8 p.m. Ideally, it is a 12 to 8 shift that you're working on Thanksgiving. Um, especially in my elder years of being in the 30s, I do not want to be in anyone's house later than 8 p.m. I'm trying to get out the door. I'm trying to get into the shower. I'm trying to lay in my bed and watch the last NFL game until I fall asleep. So you should have to wrap it up. You should have appetizers between 12 and 1, dinner around 4 o'clock, then 6 7 you have dessert, and then you leave their place by 8 o'clock. You should not be there a minute later than 8 o'clock. Number 5, you don't have to overdo the mac and cheese. I've been watching a lot of videos on my TikTok, on my For You page, about people, baking mac and cheese, putting in all these spices, doing a roux, going all out, and I fully appreciate that. And if you do that on Thanksgiving, I do love it, and I want to be invited to your house. However, you don't need to do that. My cousin makes mac and cheese in the crock pot, and it's amazing. It's fantastic. If you want to put breadcrumbs on your mac and cheese, by all means, do it. If you want to cook it in the crock pot, do it. If you want to cook it in the oven, do it. Feels like everything needs to be made in the oven, so if you need to do an alternate way of cooking mac and cheese, that's fine. I love mac and cheese. It is my favorite side dish. I think that it has the ability, based on whoever cooked it, to be the best item on the Thanksgiving plate. But you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to overdo it. Number 6, if you think the turkey is dry, that's your fault. Turkey is not dry. You can inject it with a lot of butter and, baste it a lot. If your turkey is coming out dry, that means you're not doing it right. Or if you're eating dry turkey, that means that the person that you went to doesn't know how to cook. Turkey is not dry, it is moist. It's great in the oven, it's great fried. I would say that in the oven is a little bit better method. That way you can shove the stuffing in the bird's ass. I love eating bread out of birds' asses.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So that's always a big win for me. But if you fry it, it also comes out really great and really juicy. And I shouldn't have to go into detail about this, but you should know how to fry a turkey. You should know the rules. You should be doing it outside, doing it away from your house. Do it slowly. Make sure the turkey's room temperature. Make sure you're wearing the proper heat resistant gloves to drop it in. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but every year, if you turn the news on later on Thanksgiving or on Black Friday, you see local dumbass gets burned by frying turkey. It happens every year, unfortunately. Number 7, don't fill up on the dinner rolls and don't overeat. I know those little dinner rolls are so good. They're warm. You're gonna cover them in butter. They're gonna be amazing. Depending on the household, you might even have like a little honey butter on top, a little glaze, kind of like the chicken minis at Chick-fil-A. And you're gonna go through about 3 or 4 of them real quickly, and then you're gonna realize that you overdid it, and now you don't have room to eat the rest of your food. They're sweet and innocent initially, but then it starts to catch up on you. So just don't do that and don't overeat. Like, you should be full. You should have something significant in your stomach. You should be lazy and groggy and tired, but you should not be to the point where you're so overstuffed that you're like throwing up everywhere. Like, don't push it. Know your body, know your limits, and eat responsibly. Number 8, respect the TV. I come from a football family. So if we're hosting Thanksgiving, which we don't really do, football is going to be on. They might be nice and throw on some kids programs for the kids there, but we like watching football. And I grew up going to places where we watch football. And we go to my cousin's house and they don't like sports. So what do? I just put on the game on my phone. I have one earbud in so I can listen to the game and one earbud out so I can listen to other people talk and engage in conversation with people I haven't seen in a while. So, if you go to a house that has football on, you can, and your kid wants to watch, Dora the Explorer or Paw Patrol or whatever kids are watching these days, you can do that. Just have their own program on their iPad and respect the household that you're in. If you're in a big football family, especially if the family's team is in the game and you're actually watching the team that they're rooting for, then just act accordingly. Maybe you can compromise after the game is over. You can watch something else, but you should respect the TV. And also, if you're showing Christmas movies on Thanksgiving, that's just disrespectful to the pilgrims. I mean, I understand that you probably should have movies or some sort of commercial free program just going through the background. Maybe people are paying attention, maybe people aren't. But it shouldn't be Christmas movies. I'm sure there's a bunch of family movies that you can find, but you should not be watching, you know, a movie based on a holiday that hasn't even happened yet during a holiday that's currently happening. I'm letting the Christmas trees and the Christmas decorations slide going before holiday, but Christmas movies on Thanksgiving, I think, is very disrespectful. So that's where I would draw the line. Number 9, dress comfortably. If you know that a house is really cold and you get there and you're cold, put on a jacket. Make sure you have one with you. If you're someone like me who runs hot, wear shorts and a t-shirt, and then the air will cool you down. There you should be familiar with the landscape of whoever you're going to, and you should know if their house is usually warm or cold, and you should adapt accordingly. Also, if you're going to be taking a holiday card picture, you should wear nice clothes, but make sure that you're comfortable the whole time. You don't want to be wearing a stiff suit or whatever, and all of a sudden you're sitting around doing God's know what to your intestines while you're eating all this food, and then dress nice for like one picture. Like, the picture is gonna last for a couple seconds, and then you can make it disheveled as all you want, but just show up to the place that what the temperature is going to be, and dress accordingly. Don't be asking people to change the thermostat to accommodate you. That's just rude. I don't even think that's a holiday thing. I think that's just a personal boundary kind of situation. Number 10, there's 15 items on this list, by the way. We're almost done. Number 10, casseroles are welcome. I don't understand the hate the casseroles get. Sweet potato casserole is amazing with the marshmallows on it and the brown sugar. That's fantastic. And green bean casserole, I've seen a lot of hate towards green bean casserole. It's amazing, especially when you have the French fried onions on it. Green bean casserole is great, and if you don't like it, you're a child. So I don't understand the hate the casseroles get, but they are welcome on the Thanksgiving plate. Speaking of plates, number 11, use paper plates, especially if you're hosting. Why are you're doing all this cooking, you're preparing all this wonderful food. Why are you also doing dishes? You have to do the dishes, whatever, cleaning utensils, you're going to be washing, whatever you put in the oven. But if especially this also goes for people who are bringing food, make sure you bring it in stuff that you can throw away. The worst thing you need is bringing a dish and then leaving it there, and then you pick it up at another time. Just put it in like one of those big, you know, metal trays, whatever, aluminum trays or whatever. Bring a sterno or something to keep it warm. Try and eliminate the dishes that you need to do, because you're already cooking so much. The last thing you want to do is add dishes on top of that. Number 12 is important. Play games with your family. Especially this is really optimized after dinner, before dessert. Play like some card games, maybe play Uno. My family likes to play bingo a lot. Make sure that you're interacting with your family, because you're not going to be with them for a long time. You don't know how long you have. So make sure that you're playing games with your family and you're in the moment. That's very important. Number 13, bring politics up at your own discretion. If you feel like being messy and you feel like, you know what, today I'm going to start something. I'm going to bring up the Epstein files. I'm going to bring up Zohran Mamdani winning mayor of New York City. I'm going to, talk about the government shutdown. You can do that. There's two body parts of me that don't discriminate, and that is my stomach and my penis. And um, if like politics get in the way of food, I'm just gonna quietly just keep my peace, and I'm gonna eat food. There's 364 days, I guess maybe 363 if you want to include Christmas, where you can debate and engage in politics. I'm just here for the food. Number 14, speaking of talking to people, don't dig into people's personal lives. And what I mean by that is, if someone's not married, Don't bring up why they're not married. Don't ask why they don't have kids yet. It's none of your business. Um, just try and keep it, how's the job? How's life? How's this person? How's that person? But don't really go too deep into it because people are struggling. And you know what? It's none of your damn business why you're not married at a certain point or why you don't have kids. So if people are pressing, just, hey, if you want, fight fire with fire. If someone asks you why you're still single, ask them why they're still alive. Throw haymakers at them. Fight fire with fire. And the last one is number 15. Make sure there's leftovers. Make sure that people can go home with a plate if they want to, and make sure that you have enough food for the next day's lunch slash dinner and the iconic Black Friday sandwich, where you get the turkey, you get stuffing, mac and cheese, you get all of that and you put it on a sandwich. Make sure that you have enough for people to take home, because this is people's, like I said, Super Bowl, World Cup, whatever you want to have it. This is their magnum opus of food, and they want to take some of that home. So make sure you have enough for the guests to bring home to their houses, and that you have enough for the next day's lunch slash dinner. But that does it for this video. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you listen to my tips and tricks, and I'll see you again next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.